What if I told you that an entire nation's survival could hinge on discarded tires and the determination of its youth, that roads once impassable and deadly could be rebuilt not by machines or foreign experts, but by young volunteers risking everything to reclaim their country's future? This is not a story from a movie. This is Burkina Faso, under President Ibrahim Traoré, a leader daring enough to defy convention. For decades, the villages of Burkina Faso suffered in silence. Torrential rains washed away the fragile roads, leaving communities stranded. In the blistering dry season, cracked highways trapped ambulances, school buses, and market supplies. Children missed school. Patients missed critical care. Families were isolated, and hope seemed like a distant luxury. Then, in the midst of despair, came a plan that stunned the world. Old tires, once trash, once a source of pollution, became the backbone of a bold national road network laid by the hands of the nation's youth. Roads that would not only reconnect cities and villages, but ignite pride, empower a generation, and transform a nation on the brink of collapse. Can the courage of young volunteers, guided by Traoré's audacious vision, truly reshape Burkina Faso? Can discarded tires pave a path to national rebirth and a new era of resilience? If you believe in the power of courage, innovation, and grassroots revolution, stay with us, because what happens next will astonish you. Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation in West Africa, has long been fragmented by deteriorating roads. During the rainy season, many routes turned into impassable mud, isolating villages. In the dry season, cracked and broken roads made it nearly impossible for ambulances, school buses, or farmers to transport goods. The country's fragile infrastructure not only stalled economic activity, but also endangered the lives of its citizens. Recognizing this urgent crisis, President Ibrahim Traoré launched a groundbreaking national road initiative, 5,000 kilometers of roads, connecting every province with a particular focus on rural and remote areas. The total project investment is estimated at $200 billion USD. What sets this project apart is its workforce: local youth volunteers or national youth brigades who participate in every step, from collecting and cleaning discarded tires to laying them and covering them with a specially formulated cement mixture that binds to rubber, producing roads that withstand extreme heat, heavy rain, and high traffic. The construction method uses locally available materials, recycled tires, sand, gravel, and earth combined with the cement mix. This approach reduces costs by roughly 40% compared to traditional asphalt roads, while also being environmentally friendly, recycling waste tires that would otherwise pollute rivers and landfills. The government has also deployed 900 construction machines, while engineers and volunteers work together, providing training and hands-on skills for the nation's youth and creating thousands of jobs. Early results are already impressive. Journeys that once took 5 hours now take just 1. Agricultural products reach markets efficiently, students can attend school, and medical access is vastly improved. Beyond physical connectivity, the project has strengthened community pride, a sense of purpose, and national unity among young people who actively contribute to rebuilding their country. Yet this story is not only about roads. It is about the power of determination, the role of youth, and the strategic vision of President Ibrahim Traoré, who turned a crisis into an opportunity. And this is only the surface. When we explore international reactions and the project's peak impact, the story becomes even more dramatic. As the tire-based road project progressed across Burkina Faso, it quickly became a national sensation. Young volunteers worked tirelessly under the sun, sometimes for 12 hours a day, turning what was once waste into the arteries of a nation. Villages once isolated were now within hours of major towns. Markets buzzed with activity, ambulances reached patients in time, and schools reopened with full attendance. President Ibrahim Traoré emerged as a symbol of courage and innovation. His decision to rely on local youth brigades rather than foreign contractors, challenged conventional development models and drew international attention. Engineers from Mali, Niger, and Chad visited Burkina Faso to study the methodology, considering replication in their own countries. Environmental organizations praised the project for its eco-friendly approach, noting how it recycled thousands of old tires that would otherwise have created pollution. The reaction from the global media was equally compelling. Headlines described Burkina Faso as a pioneer in sustainable infrastructure and a nation reinventing itself from the ground up. Africa News covered the project extensively, emphasizing Traoré's ability to combine economic recovery, environmental responsibility, and youth empowerment into a single initiative. Even US think tanks highlighted the model as an example of grassroots leadership that bypasses dependence on foreign aid while achieving tangible results. The high point of public attention came when a stretch of the new highway connecting Ouagadougou to several northern provinces was inaugurated. Thousands gathered to witness the opening, and young volunteers were celebrated as national heroes. This moment crystallized the project's dual significance. It was both a physical transformation of the country and a psychological one, instilling pride, hope, and confidence in a generation that had long been marginalized. Yet not everyone was silent. Critics questioned whether such a massive reliance on unskilled labor could maintain long-term road quality. Political opponents argued that the $200 billion investment might be mismanaged. However, Traoré's transparent planning, coupled with meticulous supervision and involvement of engineers, mitigated much of the skepticism. The world watched as Burkina Faso's bold strategy unfolded a daring experiment, where youth, innovation and vision converged to challenge the status quo, attract international attention, and redefine what a developing nation could accomplish. But while the global reactions poured in, the story of the people themselves, the communities, the families, and the young workers was about to reveal its most profound consequences. The impact of Burkina Faso's tire-based road project has gone far beyond infrastructure. It has reshaped society, politics, and the everyday lives of citizens. Roads are no longer mere pathways. They have become symbols of empowerment, unity, and national pride, particularly among the youth who constructed them. At the heart of the project were tens of thousands of young volunteers organized into national youth brigades. These were individuals who, before the initiative, faced unemployment, isolation, and limited prospects. By participating in road construction, they gained technical skills, teamwork experience, and a sense of ownership over their country's development. Training programs taught proper tire-laying techniques, cement mixing, and road maintenance. These skills have long-term value, enabling youth to find employment in civil works, local governance, or even start their own infrastructure-related businesses. Beyond employment, the roads reconnected isolated communities. Villages that previously required 5 hours of dangerous travel to reach the nearest town could now arrive in just 1 hour. Emergency medical services improved drastically, ambulances could respond quickly, and patients accessed hospitals in time. Farmers transported goods to markets faster, reducing spoilage and increasing income. Schools reopened with regular attendance, and children were no longer at risk from treacherous journeys. The environmental angle also resonated civically. By recycling hundreds of thousands of old tires, the project reduced waste, protected rivers and farmland from contamination, and showcased a sustainable approach to development. This visible integration of environmental responsibility and social empowerment fostered a sense of collective achievement and civic pride among citizens. For President Ibrahim Traoré, the project became a defining moment of his leadership. In a nation often affected by political instability and limited resources, Traoré demonstrated that bold vision, strategic planning, and youth engagement could achieve unprecedented results. By channeling the energy of volunteers into a constructive initiative, he effectively turned potential unrest into nationwide cooperation, gaining widespread support across social, ethnic, and regional lines. The initiative also enhanced Burkina Faso's international reputation. Other African nations such as Mali, Niger and Chad sent delegations to study the project, exploring replication of the model in their own territories. Environmental and development organizations applauded the method, recognizing its efficiency, sustainability, and ability to deliver tangible results without over-reliance on foreign aid. Domestically, the government leveraged the project to strengthen transparency and accountability. Every stage of construction involved oversight from engineers and local leaders. This visibility mitigated concerns about mismanagement of the $200 billion investment and built trust among citizens who could see the roads physically taking shape and transforming their lives. Perhaps most profound is the impact on national identity. Burkina Faso's youth, once disconnected and skeptical of governance, became active participants in nation building. The roads became more than infrastructure, they became a metaphor for connection, progress, and collective resilience. Villages that had once felt forgotten now felt part of a larger national fabric. Communities celebrated openings of major roads involving local leaders, families, and volunteers in ceremonies that reinforced pride, unity, and shared purpose. Economically, the new road network accelerated market access, reduced transport costs, and allowed farmers and small businesses to expand. Agricultural production increased because perishables could now reach markets faster. Local businesses grew as transport efficiency improved, generating additional tax revenue for the government and creating a positive feedback loop of development. The long-term effect may well be a generational shift. Youth who participated in construction have experienced firsthand the power of civic engagement and leadership. Many are inspired to pursue careers in governance, public service, or sustainable development. The project not only changed the physical landscape, but reshaped the political and social mindset of Burkina Faso's next generation. In summary, the roads were never just about transport. They became a catalyst for civic empowerment, political legitimacy, social cohesion, and economic vitality, a living example of how visionary leadership and active youth engagement can transform a nation from the ground up. As Burkina Faso's tire-based road project unfolded, it did more than transform villages and reconnect communities, it captured the attention of the world. Analysts in the United States, international development agencies, and African neighbors alike began to view President Ibrahim Traoré's initiative as a bold experiment in self-reliance innovation and youth-led nation building. Initially, some American observers were skeptical. Could a developing nation with limited resources and political instability truly execute a $200 billion 5,000-kilometer road project? Would reliance on youth brigades compromise quality? However, as images and reports of completed road segments circulated, perspectives shifted. Experts from US think tanks highlighted the project as a model for grassroots development, demonstrating that strategic investment in human capital and local innovation could produce results that rival conventional capital-intensive infrastructure projects. Humanitarian organizations in the US also noted the social impact. Roads built by local youth improved emergency response, educational access, and food distribution, addressing challenges often overlooked in standard foreign aid programs. The story of youth empowerment resonated with policymakers, especially those focused on sustainable development, job creation, and climate-conscious infrastructure. Several media outlets, including Africa-focused segments of major US news networks, framed the project as a case study in leadership under adversity. Headlines emphasized Burkina Faso's ingenuity and Traoré's vision from tires to highways. How Burkina Faso is rebuilding itself, or the youth-powered revolution changing African infrastructure. Analysts drew parallels to American New Deal-style public works programs, where labor mobilization created infrastructure and national pride simultaneously. Neighboring African nations such as Mali, Niger, and Chad have sent delegations to study the project, seeking lessons in combining environmental sustainability with infrastructure development. International organizations, including the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the World Bank, recognized Burkina Faso as a leader in innovation-driven, environmentally responsible development. Environmental experts praised the recycling of hundreds of thousands of tires, highlighting both pollution reduction and innovative engineering. Economists lauded the project's cost efficiency. By using local materials and labor, Burkina Faso avoided over-reliance on expensive imports like asphalt and machinery, which often strain national budgets. Traoré's approach has subtle but significant geopolitical effects. By demonstrating that a resource-limited nation can execute large-scale infrastructure independently, Burkina Faso challenges traditional development paradigms where foreign contractors and aid dominate. This shift enhances the country's political credibility and strengthens its bargaining power in regional African diplomacy. For U.S. policymakers, the project presents both opportunities and considerations. It is an example of effective local governance, demonstrating that empowering youth and investing in practical infrastructure can yield measurable outcomes. Yet it also raises questions about how external support should be structured, whether foreign aid should supplement local initiatives rather than dominate them. International media framed the project as a narrative of hope, ingenuity, and African agency. Stories highlighted young workers transforming trash into roads, communities thriving after years of isolation, and a president leveraging vision over resources. These stories counter prevailing narratives of African dependency, offering instead a model of resilience and self-determination. Global investors and development partners are taking note. Burkina Faso's approach illustrates that sustainable infrastructure can be executed with local talent and creativity, a lesson that could influence policies, funding, and collaborative projects across the developing world. Ultimately, the international response is not just about roads. It is about the symbolism of a nation taking control of its destiny. President Ibrahim Traoré's vision, coupled with the dedication of young volunteers, represents a new narrative that African countries can lead in innovation, sustainability, and social empowerment. For the US and global community, Burkina Faso has become a living laboratory of how strategic leadership and citizen engagement can redefine national progress. While the world watches, the project quietly strengthens the fabric of society, reshapes governance expectations, and offers a blueprint for nations seeking self-reliant people-powered development. The world believed Burkina Faso's tire-based road project was remarkable, but few anticipated the full magnitude of its impact, both domestically and internationally. What started as an infrastructure program evolved into a power shift, positioning President Ibrahim Traoré as a symbol of visionary leadership and African resilience. Twist Part 1: Redefining Leadership and Power. As the project progressed, its success began to alter political dynamics. Opposition parties initially criticized the initiative, questioning its feasibility and the heavy reliance on youth volunteers. Yet when communities celebrated the completion of the first 1,000 kilometers of road, their voices turned. Local populations who had previously been politically apathetic began to rally in support of Traoré, not just as a politician, but as a leader who could tangibly transform their daily lives. This transformation was particularly striking in rural regions, where citizens witnessed roads replacing treacherous dirt paths and enabling access to markets, schools, and hospitals. Villages that were isolated for decades now experienced connectivity, trade opportunities, and social integration. The youth brigades, once seen merely as a labor force, became national heroes, embodying the country's collective ambition and determination. Internationally, the project drew comparisons to historic global infrastructure feats such as the US New Deal highways or Japan's post-war reconstruction. Analysts noted that Traoré's approach, mobilizing local labor, utilizing sustainable materials, and investing in human capital, challenged conventional development models, demonstrating that impactful change could emerge without dependence on foreign expertise or aid. The project's success also elevated Burkina Faso's international standing. Neighboring nations, once skeptical, began sending delegations to study the methodology, signaling a shift in regional influence. Burkina Faso, previously considered a minor player in West African geopolitics, was now being cited as a model for sustainable people-powered infrastructure. Global media amplified the narrative. Headlines celebrated the African nation rewriting its own destiny, and Africa News emphasized the innovative use of youth brigades to achieve a massive infrastructure milestone. US and European development experts acknowledged the project's ingenuity, noting that Burkina Faso's approach could influence aid policies and investment strategies across the continent. The twist did not end there. By leveraging local resources and labor, Burkina Faso avoided dependence on foreign construction firms and redirected funds toward broader social programs. The $200 billion investment became a tool not just for roads, but for national empowerment, education, and long-term economic development. Traoré's bold strategy proved that infrastructure projects could be more than concrete and asphalt. They could be instruments of social transformation, political legitimacy, and international influence. His leadership redefined the possibilities for African nations. Self-reliance, innovation, and youth-driven action could rewrite the rules of progress. In this way, a road project became a turning point, a twist in the story, where Burkina Faso moved from the margins to the spotlight with President Ibrahim Traoré as both architect and symbol of this remarkable journey. Burkina Faso has transformed. What began as a pragmatic solution to crumbling roads has become a national renaissance. Villages are no longer isolated. Children can reach schools safely, farmers transport crops efficiently, communities are connected, proud, and hopeful. At the heart of this transformation is President Ibrahim Traoré, a leader who refused to wait for foreign aid and instead trusted the vision, determination, and skill of his people. The youth brigades who laid thousands of kilometers of roads are now living symbols of empowerment, demonstrating what a nation can achieve when its citizens take ownership of their destiny. The roads are more than asphalt and tires. They are a lifeline, a statement, and a legacy. They embody the promise that development can be sustainable, inclusive, and transformative. They remind the world that a nation, regardless of size or resources, can rise through courage, innovation, and collective effort. President Traoré's message is clear: we do not ask for freedom. We rise to claim it. If the courage and vision of Ibrahim Traoré inspire you, share this story. Subscribe to follow the journey of Burkina Faso, a nation no longer on the sidelines but leading by example in Africa and the world. This is more than a road project. It is a testament to what a determined leader and a united people can achieve, proving that true change comes from within.